Hey there YouTube, Mr. Fedora Man here, back again with the fourth part actually of chapter 15. Yeah, so we're just going through again in the desert, killing people. I honestly don't know what to say. I actually do have something to say, and that would be that I am no longer very busy anymore. I do have a lot more free time to be doing videos, so that'll be the next couple days or so. I should be getting back to if not regular uploads, at least semi-auto or semi-auto. Oops, semi. How would I word that? Semi. Like a semi-weekly basis. I don't know, something like that. I probably worded that wrong. You know, a video every couple days or something like that. I don't know about every day, considering, well, I don't know, it depends on what happens during my schedule. Things like that. So this is quite a big video we got here, around almost going over the, going to the 19-minute mark, which I don't like to pass too often. Just for the fact that these battles, like I said, could take a while, and it's kind of annoying when they're long videos, because I know how people don't want to stick around and watch a video that is going to be 20 minutes long, especially if they don't have the time for it. So that's why I'm kind of glad that that on the Gamer Infinity we don't have the 15-minute limit just yet, because it allows me to... I'll be having more videos. Well, I'll be having tons of videos anyways, just for the fact that it's Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. But they won't have to be as long as I won't have to like jam them with as much content as possible. I don't know how to explain that. Oh, I'm tired. That's everyone's excuse though, and I'm no different. Tired. It's not fun being tired. Oh. So yeah, I think I said something about there being items all over this desert and things like that, but I don't think I looked for them. Just for the fact that, we're one chapter away from finishing this little mini project. I mean, I don't exactly need I don't need items that are gonna keep helping me through the rest of the game. That also depends on if I do decide to do the rest of the game. That's also up to opinion too. If people are tired of seeing Fire Emblem, I will definitely switch to something else. But the only problem with that is I gotta think of what I gotta do, because once I've finished pre-recording, I haven't recorded chapter 16 at all yet. But once I've finished pre-recording chapter 16, things are gonna start getting a little difficult, because I'm gonna have to think of what I want to do on this channel for another for the next Let's Play. So that's gonna be exciting. Okay. And you know, during this battle, Valter and Calleach weren't as difficult as I thought to take out as they would have been. Just I don't know. They weren't so bad. You gotta make some decisions like this in the game, where you've gotta kinda throw up some other units to do some damage. Generally when it's 22 times 2 with a 91% hit chance, and that would kill Jarek, I didn't really want to go for it, so I decided to bring Mulder up just in case, and I believe I attack with Ewan and then go in for the rest with Ephraim. And I did get both of the I don't know if there's probably a dialogue between Erica and Valter, to be honest, but I did do the dialogue between Ephraim and Valter, so that's nice to finally see that. And I did the Joshua and Calleach banter dialogue again, so if you were looking for that, there you go. Well, my only problem with the Calleach and Joshua one is that one takes forever to go through. Holy sweet Jiminy Christmas. I've been saying that a lot too, and not like in videos or anything, just like in when I've been going out and things like that. Like I've been I hung out with a couple of friends of mine recently, and I kept saying "Sweet Jiminy Christmas," and I don't know why. I don't know where I picked it up from. I honestly don't know. And there's Ephraim with the kill. It's kind of unfortunate that Valter didn't really have any dialogue at the end, saying like, "Oh no, I am dead," blah blah blah. But it was just kind of like, hey, he kind of just screamed. He was like, "Arrgh, I'm dead." And that was it. It was a little disappointing because he was kind of a prominent pain in the ass. I'd like to see a little bit more from him, but oh, whatever. Now we gotta take on Calleach, which I never really surrounded any troops around, but they're all really grunts, so it's not exactly difficult. I was gonna think of a Mass Effect reference there with a grunt. Oof. I've gotten to that part of the game recently. Actually, I just I decided to get grunt, so that was an interesting choice. I'll say that. I don't know if what that's gonna affect in the future, but I suppose we'll find out. Good God. I just don't really know what to say at this point, because see, with the longer these videos get, the harder it is to think of something to say, because sometimes, like I say, you're not in that mood to talk. And I'm somewhat in the mood to talk, I just don't know what to talk about. That's, that's kind of the problem. And, oh yeah, another thing to mention, that since Saleh and Prince Inz join us now, they're both kind of, compared to the rest of my units, they're kind of poopy, considering they're like, what, a level, I think a level 5 Sage or a level 3 Sniper. It might be reversed. I don't know. I don't remember. Alright, sorry about that. I had a little interruption there. Anyways, I guess I'll get back to what I'm doing here. Yeah, when I want to get onto this the subject I was talking about before, and that was this headset that I'm using currently. When I say it's on the end of its rope, I mean it's literally on the end of its rope. Like, I have to move the cord. I have to move it in certain spots to even hear the audio. So most of the time during this recording, I'm not even able to hear the game sound, because, or half of it even shows up. Like, since it's kind of a stereo setup where they have the music from the left ear is different than the right ear, and it combines to make one that sounds combined in both the ears. But sometimes I'll only get one side, so I really need to get a new headset, because this, pardon my French, but this is really fucking annoying. I'm gonna stop complaining about that, because there's nothing you guys can do about that. So, whew, man, it's been one of those days today. Are you just tired? Oh man. I honestly don't know what to say. I've kind of lost my train of thought when I was interrupted, so I had to stop whatever I was doing, and I've kind of lost what I was talking about. I do remember talking about how Saleh and Inz or whoever, Heinz catch up. They're both tier 2 units, just really low level tier 2, so they're not really good compared to the rest of my units, which are, I'm pretty sure most of my units are tier 2. So, yeah. And I think this is the part around in the chapter where the enemy reinforcements stop showing up, because, well, when you beat down enough reinforcements, I really don't think it's a good idea to send more in. You just continue to get beat up. Oh man, I need to go get a glass of water or something after this, because I'm kind of thirsty. See, that's what I mean. Like, you get random stuff like that. Another Worm Slayer isn't bad at all. I mean, I don't really think we run into a lot more wyverns. I mean, I think there's a couple in the couple chapters from now, but this is... Ooh, excuse me. Actually, this chapter here is a good portion of the wyverns in the game. Which, I don't know why they would put in that... They've got a couple Worm Slayer swords and dragon spears and what, like... Well, I guess if you go through the ruins of Lagdo, or I think that's how they were pronounced, there were some evil zombie dragon things, and those dragon weapons worked on them as well, I believe. But the sacred weapons were way better, obviously, because they're meant to combat that kind of thing. Okay. See, once you get close enough, these guys all decide to come and attack you anyways. So you don't even need to bring the rest of your units. As long as you have like one moderately strong unit, it can just fend off the majority of the attackers. Also, I don't think I've seen it very often, but there happens to be an ability that Wyvern Knights get, and it's called Pierce, and it pierces the enemy's defenses now. I think I've seen it once, but I don't quite remember. It was quite a while back, probably one of the first times I played this game. I believe it does like the same thing where it's with the general's great defense or the sniper's sure shot or whatever it is. Whereas for generals, and the snipers, you know, they have that glow. I think that glow applies to the Wyvern Knights too. But what it does is it either cuts the enemy's defense in half when you attack them, either that or it completely negates it, which would be good in certain cases, but the thing is they're special abilities, so you can't really rely on them that often, because you don't exactly want them. That's like with criticals. I mean, I only try it if I have a really, really good chance of the critical, because there's lots of the time where you're just gonna have to rely on your unit's normal attacks and not their critical hits, because yeah, critical hits are nice, and yes, critical hits will take out lots of bosses and enemies and things like that without having to worry a whole lot. But the thing is, some of those criticals are incredibly lucky. Some characters are better at critical hits more than others. Take Joshua, for example, with, I think is it skill? I believe. I think skill affects your hit percentage with your attacks as well as your critical hit rate. It could just be hit percentage of hitting your enemy. I don't know. I don't quite remember. I mean, you can go onto the stats menu and use your R button, I believe, to check what each of the individual stats do. You know, if you have an item that boosts stats, you can just be like, hey, have this, and there you go. The problem with Calleach is that he's got that tomahawk, so tomahawk is a throwing axe, and it can be used both up close and far away. So you can't, like, just chip away at his health with, like, archers or mages, because he'll just attack right back. Because normally the archers and mages are the weaker physical units. So you could be like, hey, I'll just throw you in here, chip off some damage, and then throw in some of the other units that I have. But when they do things like freaking throw the weapon at you, you kind of don't want to take the chance to get hit, especially if the enemy is powerful, which I will say that most of the bosses in this game are. Not all of them, but a fair amount of the bosses do take quite a bit of work to take down, even if you have fairly leveled up units like I do. Well, I shouldn't say fairly leveled up, but pretty much like giving them steroids. See, it doesn't matter with the killing edge, because Calleach's got the what is it, the Hoplin Guard, so he can't be affected by critical hits. So it's unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? And then I decided to use Ross here because I looked at the fact that Ross isn't very good at hitting Calleach, but even if Calleach hits Ross, he's only gonna do 6 damage. But luckily enough, Ross did manage to hit him and pick up a warp staff. And then I'm like, well, I could send Arthur in and he would most likely kill Calleach. But I wanted to throw Joshua in, 1 for the dialogue, 2 for the fact that Joshua would 100% murderate Calleach. Plus we get this little dialogue here, where we find out that Joshua was doing mercenary work with Calleach a long time ago, and that they're I believe they're the only ones, the only 2 survivors of the troop, the mercenary troop that they were a part of. Because I believe them obviously being main characters, don't have to worry about that. But we later find out, in Erica's Path, if you watch the Let's Play, that it turns out that Joshua actually was the prince of Johanna. He was the son of Queen Izmir, and was the next heir to the throne of Johanna. But he doesn't like the whole political thing. He doesn't like the idea of being a king. So that's why he joined a mercenary troop, so that he could get to know other people and just kind of relax and whatnot, and not have to worry about all the politics and all the ruling that's necessary to be a king. So I kind of hope they get, yeah, I think they're starting to get going here, because they do tend to ramble on a little bit more here. And here we go, quick slash. I mean, the hero sprite looks pretty sweet, which I'm thinking of turning Jarek into. I'm gonna give him the Master Seal. I'm gonna turn him into a hero and see how he turns out, because he could be good. He could be absolutely ass terrible. You're not gonna know until you give it a go and see what happens. Like I said in the past, even with save states, it doesn't matter. Well, I guess what you could do is, if you know a unit's gonna level up, you could make a save state if you're using an emulator, and it's randomly generated, these stats, so it doesn't matter. You're not gonna get the same stat every time. Like, you're not gonna get, like, I don't know, one strength, 1 speed, 1 defense. You might get 1 resistance, 1 skill, and 1 I don't know, HP or something. Like, they're never gonna stay the same, which does make it interesting, because your units, some of your units that'll be good in one playthrough will be totally terrible in the next playthrough, and you know, you might have better opinions on other units. But the thing is, there's also another little thing called what is it? Level? I don't think it's level. I think it's skill growth. Like, certain units have better skill growths than others, which allow them to get better stats. Kind of like the beginner units, like Amelia, Ross, and Ewan, because they get 10 extra levels. So technically, they should be better. Anyways, we're getting pretty close to the end of this recording. The next little part's only like 4 minutes, so I don't think I'm going to narrate that. I think I'm just going to leave that. But both of those parts will be going up tonight. So anyways, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next chapter, chapter 16, the last of this project. This is Mr. Fedora Man, signing off. Bye.